Members, and welcome to the Sanquhar Common Good Fund Subcommittee meeting of Wednesday, 21st of June 2023. Can all members please follow the good practice guidance, which includes muting microphones and switching off your video when you are not addressing the meeting, writing speak in the Teams chat function when you want to contribute. Please don't repeat contributions already made by other members. No material should be posted in the chat function if it's intended as part of the discussion. The usual standing orders apply, including that any votes will be undertaken by roll call. If any member has to leave the meeting, please either leave the Teams meeting for that period of time or write leave in the Teams chat function and then join when you rejoin the meeting so that we can keep track of whether the meeting was quorate. All members should speak clearly and directly into the microphone when making contributions, and when referring to reports, please provide reference to the relevant page and paragraph to allow everyone to follow. Please focus contributions on areas where clarification is required or to propose an alternative to a recommendation. The first agenda item is Sedrant apologies and Chair's approval of members' remote participation. Can you provide the Sedrant and apologies, please, Fiona? And I confirm my agreement to the participation of members participating remotely.
Yep, thank you, Chair. All members present online this morning, and welcome to our Community Rep, Ronnie Johnson.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Do any members have any declaration of interest or statements of connection? I take it with silence that there is none. 3 minutes of the previous meeting of 1st of March 2023. This minute is for noting as it already been approved. Happy with that, members?
Yep.
Agenda item 4, disposal of land at Station Road, Sanquhar, DG46BT. Report by Head of Economy and Development. Members, our first report today is regarding the disposal of land at Station Road. I've been involved with this for several years. A few years ago, the Silver Band contacted me and Fiona to see how they could own the land the band hall sits upon. As it came to their attention, there was nothing in writing to say it belonged to them. Fiona took them through the asset transfer process and linked in colleagues from third sector. The Silver Band decided they did not want to become a community transfer body, which groups need to be to community asset transfer. Therefore, this is why this report is in front of you, as the band wished to secure the land through a negotiated off-market sale. Colin, can I just check that any income from this sale would come back to the Sanquhar Common Good? And Colin, as you can see, Colin Freeman is available in Teams to take this question on the report. Colin?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that any capital receipt gained from the sale of the land will go to the Sanquhar Common Good Fund.
Thank you. Members, you will have read the report. Do any of you any questions for Colin? Ronnie Johnson, please.
But this was discussed at Sanquhar Community Council last Thursday night, and we've no objections at all to it being carried out, as long as the money goes to Sanquhar Common Good.
Thank you. Andrea, Tony?
Yes, thank you, Jim. Clearly you'll have a much greater knowledge and background of this than I will, but I'm assuming that the Silver Band has been at this site for quite a number of years. Is that right? I can see you're shaking your head, Colin. Yeah. So I have no objections, Jim. I think if they've been there for a long time and the band is active, then why not? I would like to see that the band is kept active.
Thank you. Andrew?
As you know, I asked an open question by email and I got a very good response, so I'm more than happy. Absolutely no issue.
Great, thanks, members. I know there's been a discussion with officers about the disposal process, and I think Colin was involved in that discussion as well. There is something askew when we are last to be consulted, not first. And I think we would have liked to have given the land to the Silver Band, given that they carry out tremendous work within our community. However, that process has been concluded as set in the papers, and I don't propose to change that. So we are asked to note that the land at Station Road, Sanquhar, DG46BT is surplus to council requirements as shown in the appendix.
Noted.
We are asked to note that the land as shown in the appendix is deemed to be alienable common good, and we are asked to agree to publish details of the proposed disposal of this common good property and notify and invite representation from community councils and community bodies as per Section 104 Community Empowerment Act Scotland 2015 as detailed in paragraph 3.7. Are members happy to note 1 and 2 and agree to item 8 or recommendation 3?
Yeah, Jim, note, I'm happy and agree with your suggestions.
Okay, so we have accepted 2.1, 2.2 and agreed 2.3.
Yep,
Colin,
no issue.
Sorry, Andrew?
I just said no issue whatsoever, agree with everything, yep.
Brilliant, thank you. So Colin, thanks very much for being with us today. I trust that this business will be concluded with the Silver Band Committee at an early date. And thank you again, Colin, for your input and being with it.
You're welcome, Chair. Thank you. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Colin.
Members, we move on to agenda item number 5. Sanquhar Common Good Fund final outturn 2021. And remember, members, this is 2021-22. And financial plan 2022-23, report by Head of Community Services. Member, our next report is the financial plan. This is for 2022-23. I'm aware that we are now in financial year 2023-24. However, the accounts and financial plan are not available at this time, so we'll go over what information we have. As you will see from 3.6 in the report, the Community Council are requesting £2,000 to support the purchase of a piece of school uniform for every pupil at Sanquhar Primary. I think this is a great offer to our school pupils, and it will indeed benefit many families in the town. Fiona, can you just clarify that we can use the micro grant for this purpose?
Yep, and I'm sorry we don't have any more up-to-date information. So what you're presented with this morning is nothing new from the last meeting, but to enable this 3.6 to come before you, the Sanquhar Community Council's proposal, I had to bring it along with the accounts that we do have. So if members are minded, we could ask that Sanquhar Common Good use a micro grant for the Sanquhar Community Council use a micro grant for this year for this purpose.
Thanks, Fiona. Ronnie?
Right, the last two community council meetings, Jim, we went to see about the money that's going to cost for these things for the kids, and £2,000 wasn't going to touch it. It's nearer 4,000. So what was decided was that we put in the application to a wind farm for that money. So what we'd like to ask today was that if this money is forthcoming from the committee for the wind power from wind farms, that we can still use this money just for what do you call it, micro grants. So could it be done that could either or?
Well, I have no objection. Either or is fine with me. If
Yep,
Fiona,
that's
you're
a
governance officer, I
Yeah,
think that the £2,000 is given to Sanquhar Community Council for whatever purpose they deem appropriate.
the £2,000 that is given already is for the purpose of micro grants, and that's already been paid this year, I believe, to Sanquhar Community Council. So that's for the purpose of micro grants, and this was just to ask to change it. But in terms of what Ronnie's saying, and I think the Upper Nithsdale Community Trust will make their decision tonight on your application that's in, Ronnie. So we should know by no
Next week.
Oh, is it next week? Sorry, next week. So it's over to members whether we want to leave it open that if they get that wind farm funding, that Sanquhar Community Council will use it for micro grants, and if they don't get that funding, they then use it for uniforms.
I think Ronnie has visited the primary school and spoken to the head teacher with Norman Burns, the chairman of the community council, and had a discussion about what to do with the supporting the school in terms of school uniforms. And as far as I'm concerned, the money has been given to the community council for a micro grant. This was a request to change for 1 year only the methodology of spend, and if the community council choose not to go down that road, then I don't see any difficulty that we would have with that. Ronnie?
Fiona said she thinks it's been paid in. I've not had any receipt of that at all, that money's been paid in. And you remember last year, Fiona, you had to chase it up. It was away near the end of the year before it was paid in. So I can't say as treasurer, I can't say that the money has been paid in at this moment in time. Because I haven't had the bank statement, maybe it's been, and I haven't got a statement. But I usually get an email from the Dumfries and Galloway Council to say your money's been paid in.
I'll maybe just bring in Joanne. Are you able to come in? You chased that up, didn't you?
Hi, Fiona. Yeah, my understanding was that it was paid, I think, round about May time. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I can check.
If you or if Fiona could just circulate each member, including Ronnie, obviously, a confirmation that the money has been paid in, and if it's not been paid in, I'm sure it will be paid in.
Yeah.
And this will be the 2023-24 payment.
Yeah.
Fine.
As I say, it might be on the statement, but I haven't got the statement yet. I don't get them to later on in the month, so it could be there.
That's fine, Ronnie. That's no bother. Tony, you want to come in?
Yeah, I've no objection to the funds being used for what they're intended. It's obviously a shame that the whole financial situation hasn't yet been resolved before it comes to us. I suspect, and I kind of suspected when I looked at this, I thought, well, £2,000 is not going to be enough to buy whole uniforms. So I'm assuming that what you were intending was to buy a portion of the uniforms that might be the most cost effective. But I think also, Jim, that it's an ongoing issue. In 4 months' time, some of the kids will have to buy new uniforms again. They happen to grow quite quickly nowadays. So I don't see any problems with this, Jim.
No, thanks, Tony. And I think the discussion was actually quite an interesting discussion with community council members. And the community council decided that they'd wait until August until the new young children joined the nursery, and because there's no point in giving a child a bit of school uniform now for them to leave the school next week and no longer require it. And initially the discussion was one piece of, or one garment, whatever that might be, whether it be a jersey, a polo shirt, or whatever. I've just got an email from Joanne Scott. Sanquhar Common Good, £2,000 was paid to Sanquhar Common Good on the 28th of March 2023. So that should be clarified. Ronnie should have that money, and that's for this financial year 2023-24. Tony, do you want to come back and see your hand up? And if no, Ronnie wants to come in again.
No, I'm just wondering, I saw that flash up as well. So that kind of confuses that the 2,000 that we're actually dealing with today, is that the 2,000 that's already been given over, or is this now another 2,000?
No. Sanquhar Community Council, and it was agreed by Nisdale Area Committee many years ago, would, from the interest gained from Sanquhar Common Good monies, they would get £2,000 to distribute in a formula they have. They have a committee that consider applications up to £250 for money from that fund, and they send a monitoring report every year to the council. So it's well organised, it's well done, and it worked well. Because of the financial climate that families are feeling, there was discussion about, could we, on a one-off basis, see how it would work giving a child a bit of school uniform, whether it be a jersey, trousers, or whatever, and that would be up to discussion between the community council and the head teacher. And that's taken place, and maybe that's why the application to the wind farm has been submitted because the community council feel they want to contribute more than what the £2,000 would actually achieve. But that's an ongoing discussion, and that's between the community council and the wind farm companies and the school.
Yeah, and I have
the
no
community
objection,
council don't want to use that £2,000 for that purpose. I am sure we will agree, provided governance. I can't see any problem with governance. Would say we can't. I would agree. It would just simply allow the community council to use the money as they always have done if they have another source of funds in which to support the primary school with.
Yeah, I know, okay, Jim. That's a bit clarity. So I'm quite happy to go with what you're, what Fiona and you were proposing.
Brilliant, Ronnie.
I just like to say it's hoodies that the kids are getting, and one of the reasons that we're getting them is that so that when they go away representing Sanquhar Primary School, everybody knows where they come from, and it's a good thing. And with £2,000, it would have meant of getting everybody win. Some of the parents that couldn't afford it would need to put maybe £10 towards them. So that's the community council's thinking that we'd just pay everything for them, and that's that. I will check up Fiona and books again. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I've only seen it coming in. But I will check up and I'll email you within the next quarter and let you know I've got it.
Yeah, just let me know if you've received that, Ronnie.
Okay.
And Fiona will share that with Joanne Scott so that we all know what's going on. Ronnie. That's fine. Okay, so that's that element of it fixed. We now need to go to the accounts. And remember,
sorry, Chair, just before we move on, so we're agreeing that if they don't get the wind farm funding, they can use the £2,000 micro grants for uniforms, but if they do get the wind farm funding, they can use this money as micro grants.
Yes, I think what we're saying is we'll just leave it to the discretion of the community council. They've got the £2,000 and members here will agree that they can either use it for the purpose that the report says, or if they have found an alternative source of funding, they can revert back to their normal way of working, which is micro grants to up to £250 and a monitoring report sent in as usual at the conclusion of the financial year.
Perfect.
Okay. So Fiona, can you just talk us through the 2021-22? So some time ago, I did say to Fiona, we were on Teams first, so maybe before everybody else joined, it would be useful if we could have a date in the calendar when we can deal with the most recent financial accounts, because if my recollection is correct, in the end of March, full council agreed audited accounts, and that includes common good audited accounts. So the 2022-23 common good accounts would have been approved in March, and yet in June we're dealing with ones from the year before. And I don't mind what time of the year it is, whether it's June, August, October, November, but we should maybe have a set meeting date when we deal with the most recent audited accounts. So clearly, before March 2024, we'll need to have another set of audited accounts to bring us in line with everybody else.
Yep,
if that makes sense, Fiona, Joanne.
Yeah, we can work with finance to get a date that we can stick to.
Brilliant, okay. Right, okay then. Did you want to present the report, Fiona?
Yes, there's nothing much to update, Councillor Dempster, from our previous meeting. The only update I would give you is, obviously you raised last time there was no income from the fair, and we're working on that in the background, so we are working to draw down that income.
Brilliant. There is one thing that strikes me as odd, and it might be simply because it's a cut and paste, but on page 13, the income, the second line is fishing income, and that relates to Dumfries, the borough water. We don't have fishing income, and I don't see any point in that featuring in Sanquhar Common Good accounts when we don't have fishing
We
still.
don't have fishing rights.
So these should be specific to us, and likewise, burial notices. No, I don't know whether in some areas the burial grounds are common good owned as well, but I don't see any point in burial notices being featured on our accounts if we don't, or if we're not likely to receive income from it.
Yeah, I think these are just standard headings that are in all of the common good accounts, Jim, but not all common goods will have the same income. You're right.
Okay, so that's fine. If it needs to remain, fine. It just seems odd that we have it when it doesn't relate to us. But other than that, I think the accounts are fine, they're excellent, they're healthy. Members, do you have any questions on the accounts themselves, bearing in mind it's 2021-2022? Ronnie?
No, fine.
Andrew?
Fine.
Tony?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around it, but I'm just assuming that what the account has is is 177,000 plus K in the account.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the 21-22, so the 22-23 will be different. Because
and
obviously
that's what we project we will have, and that should come to us in November.
Yeah. Loans fund interest, exactly what is that?
The common good loans our money out.
So it's the interest from
it.
Yeah, okay. So it just means that there's money sent, there's money lent out, and that's just repayments back and interest. Right. Okay. No, I mean everything else.
That's right. I'll ask our governance officer Fiona just to clarify that.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jim. That's right.
Are we following the Bank of England's interest rate?
You'd need to ask. But if there are detailed questions like that, I'll get Fiona to check with Paul Garrett, our head of finance, and she will email us all the response.
Yeah, the reason I asked, Jim, is because clearly, as you know, one of the things that we as elected members over the last 15 months have had to deal with is the crisis that people are facing, and obviously getting a loan implies that you're going to have to pay back interest. So every time interest rates go up, you think, oh right, I've got to figure out how I'm going to pay that extra interest. So it'd be interesting from my point of view to see what exactly do we charge, and how is that structure managed? You know, does it go up in line with one index or another index?
Okay, I will, or you could probably, to short circuit things, you could probably email Paul Garrett and say to him, on the back of a discussion at Sanquhar Common Good, I would appreciate the following information, and ask Paul to disseminate that back to Fiona, Joanne, and other members. It would save you writing to Fiona and Fiona writing to Paul if you wrote directly to Paul, unless you'd prefer to see it first, Fiona.
No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, that's
interesting. I have a feeling that we have a long-term investment so that we are guaranteed a certain level of income back, and it's no subject to seasonal or annual variations. But
yeah,
I'm not the accountant, Tony. It's a good question, and it probably should be directed to the head of finance.
Yeah, no, the reason is that if it is, as you say, it could be whether it's a fixed or a variable. Well, you know, if things are continuing to go the way they are, which I see in the financial market, and the variable rates could impact on a lot of people who are getting loans. So, you know, the subcommittee or the common goods, we have to look at that, thinking, well, how are we going to help people in case that actually happens?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, Jim.
Thanks, Tony, and ask Paul to share it with Fiona, Joanne, and the other members of the
yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Andrew?
Yes, Jim. Sorry about that. So,
are you content with what's being said?
Yes, I am. You're a fantastic chair. You're keeping us all right. Spot on.
Very good. Okay, now I will now move to the recommendations. We are asked to note the fund's income and expenditure in 2021-22 as detailed in paragraph 3.2 of the report. Agree the financial plan as set out in the appendix, and agree with the Royal Borough of Sanquhar District Community Council to use the £2,000 from free reserve to purchase part of a school uniform for every pupil, or continue with the normal grant process, and that is at their discretion. Members happy with these? Note, agree and agree 1, 2 and 3?
Yep.
Yes, Jim.
Fine, Jim.
Absolutely happy.
Brilliant. Members, Fiona and Joanne, Ronnie, Andrew and Tony, thanks very much for being with us today. I have no other business. Nice to see you all, and thanks for being so brief. Ronnie?
Jim, I've just went in and checked my accounts, and I made up an account for the treasury report for the community council on Thursday night, and I'm sorry, but I can't see that £2,000 in. If they could send me confirmation when it was sent. I can't get into the bank today because it's closed, but I can get in tomorrow and find out what's happened.
That'll be absolutely fine. And
Okay.
there's no crisis, Ronnie. If you've not got it, you will.
I know.
Yeah, you'll get it.
But Joanne, can you check that, please, and just share an email with all members, and of course, and with Fiona.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you. Okay, members, officers, thanks very much again. Have a nice day. I'll see you next meeting. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
folks.
see you this afternoon.
Thanks,
Jim.
Chair. Thanks, members.
Bye for that.